Hi guys, I'm back on Katawa Shoujo, and this is going to be a bit of an odd episode. I want to go through and just do all the options that I didn't take during Hanako's route, basically. This is sort of for completion and just so you can see what would have happened, basically. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I've set up a load from where the first choice we were was. We'd been asked to do some council work, and originally I said I've done enough work for the council already. This time I'm going to pick, what do you think, Hanako? So it's going to be a bit disjointed for people who haven't watched any of the episodes, I'm afraid, but hopefully you enjoy it anyway. What do you say, Hanako? If we all help, it shouldn't take long at all. Hanako's fidgeting answers my question before she can even form the words. I really need to go. Well, that was to be expected. Looks like it's just me and the council girls again. It's easier to resign myself to another afternoon's work in the small council office. I'll catch up with you later, okay? Oh, okay. Right. Well, now that farewells are over, it's work time. Misha and Shizune frog march me to the student council office, never once letting go of my shoulders. I feel a little bad for ditching Hanako like this, but if this is the price of getting Misha off her back, so be it. So then, what are we up to today? Debrief. Huh? Isn't that supposed to happen after something? Yup, we have to collect all the information from the festival so that Shi-chan can debrief the teacher. Shizune drops a large pile of paperwork on the desk in front of me and smiles succinctly. You need to sort out these into two piles. One for financial stuff, like receipts, one for feedback, one for positive feedback, maybe one things that look like they could be problems next year, one for problems that probably won't be able to be fixed. That's a few more than two piles. Huh? Oh, right! Yeah, I thought there'd be only two piles. My bad. Right, well, when I'm done doing this, what will you two be doing? We'll miss our lunch because we're collecting all these reports, so we're going to get some food. Why don't you just sort them out while you were collecting them? Thankfully, my self-defense mechanism kicks in and prevents me from opening my mouth and further worsening the situation. Huh? How's that fair? I was fretting over the unfair distribution of work so much that I didn't notice that Shizune had kept on signing. If it weren't for Misha's outburst, I probably wouldn't have noticed at all. Shizune seemed to be delivering a fairly long string of commands to Misha, and none of them looked pleasant. Shit. Reaching a conclusion, Misha sighs, signs briefly back to Shizune, and then sits down at the desk next to me. Shizune waves to both of us before disappearing out the door. What was that about? Shi-chan was worried that you'd get all wrong unless she was supervised. And since she can't tell you how much messing up, that she's making me stay. Oh, bummer. I wanted to go with Shi-chan. Heh, she's gonna bring us back some food. How good is that? Misha's flippancy is out of this world. From down in the dumps to on top of the world over some calories. It's hard to imagine how anyone could operate at that level. Well, it could have been worse. So, what are we supposed to be doing? Collation! I gathered that. Well, it's just making piles, and we'll work out what piles mean later. Work out what the piles mean later. Just start making piles. Anus piles. Don't touch that pile. Ugh! Right. We start to separate all the papers into increasingly complex piles. At first it's just simple categories, financial, feedback, incident reports. Then they split apart into the good and bad reports, and further still until it starts to look like we've just thrown the papers onto the desk. This is hopeless. Huh? Why? What? We're doing what we're told, right? Yeah, but it looks like we're just making a mess. No, I think we got a lot done. She's gonna be able to work at the rest from here. I love this girl, she's great. So I think we can stop back here then. It's almost as if Misha's common sense left the room with Shizune. Still, there's no point in arguing. Anyway, what's the deal with you and Hanako? Deal? You were hanging out with her today, weren't you? Have there been any fireworks? Any gossip that you're withholding from me? If I told you about my own circumstances, it would be gossip, would it? I guess not. We're just friends, I guess. Ugh, we're back to this world. We've gone past all this. Why are you so interested? I thought you and Shizune didn't like her. It's not really like that. You know Shitan and Lily don't get along well. And since you can't really get into Hanako away from Lily, we don't talk that much. It doesn't mean we don't concern for her. What's there to be concerned about? Well, she never hangs out with anyone else, right? It's no good, Hichan. If Shizune and Lily dislike each other because their personalities are different, then I hate to think how Misha and Hanako would get along. I mean, in one way or another, we're all in the same boat here, right? Well, I guess. This one time, when she left class halfway through, Shi-chan went to the teacher and asked what she was going to do with them about it. He said that every student has special needs and that Shi-chan shouldn't be worried about herself about it. Hanako never does any group work, she just runs off. Isn't that enough to be concerned about? I guess you're right. She still hardly says a word when we're talking. That's more than I'm able to do, Shi-chan. I both tried when she started and when she got scared and ran off. She got scared and ran off. Yeah, I can imagine your attempt. I consider telling Misha that exactly the same thing happened with me, but she seems caught up in thought. She comes up going, "Oh, hello, Hanako, how's it going?" Listening to Misha without Shizune's influence is interesting. I think she needs to realize that people don't care what she looks like and that she can trust us. If she could, I'd feel a lot better about her. I think this is the longest I've watched Misha without seeing her sign. When she's with Shizune, she's constantly waving her hands about. Explain the world to Shizune. The amount of effort probably places a strain on such not even an agile mind. Let's face it, Misha isn't the world's brightest spark. Well, I'll keep an eye on it for you. We should probably apologize for earlier. I don't think Hanako was cut out for that kind of joke. Oh. I didn't even notice, sorry. Don't say to me, just mention it to her. Alright, first thing tomorrow I'll speak to her. Good. A cacophony from the door heralds the return of Shizune. I guess she can't really tell how much noise she's making. Oh, Shi-chan, you're back! Shizune appears completely laden with goods from the convenience store. There was some surplus left from the festival. Since this is the official festival business, I've splurged a little. Nice idea, Hit-chan. 10 points. I kind of want to do Shizune just so that Misha's around. Because she's fucking amazing. Is that really allowed? For someone who refuses to join us, you seem to take an unhealthy interest in the politics of the council. I shall punish your insolence by rationing your portion of the feast. Fine, I get it. Misha slides the multiple stacks of paper to one side to make room for the avalanche of food Shizune is spreading out. I watch my hard yet misdirected word become wasted. Just like, yeah, fuck it doesn't matter at all. Become wasted. I realize little wonder why these two need help. The convenience store meal isn't overly tasty, but at the very least it's filling. Thanks for helping today. Most of the time we just make up reports for the staff. This year we can make at least some relevant hidings on the debrief. Are you sure this isn't a corrupt organization? Not at all. We don't buy the books. It's not our fault if the books ain't specific enough. I thought that was a definition of corruption. You think too much. You know what? You're probably right. Anyway, I must be off. That is, if I'm allowed to leave. Your work has been deemed sufficient. You may leave. Thank you. You know, if you stress the free meal side of things over the endless workload side, you probably end up with more recruits. You might have a point. Well, think about it. And think about what we talked about. You don't have to tell that to Shizune if you don't want. What? Alright, I'll try to see you tomorrow. Night, Chan. Night, Misha. Shizune. Okay, guys, so welcome back. Now I'm going to try and show us the bad ending on Hanako's side. Okay, so to do that, we need to start with we just say, how about we call it a day? It's like, I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to try and take a nap. My head is killing me. Judging by Hanako's instant relief, I can only assume that I've guessed right. I don't think she wants to be out and about. And wordlessly, she turns her head and turns and heads back through the school gate. And then we skip ahead to a next key decision moment. So here we are. Now it comes down to this moment where you get back to here, and this time when you choose agree with Lily, it doesn't quite go the same way that you went before, basically. So agree with Lily. I listen carefully to what Lily has to say, but I can't bring myself to agree with her. Hanako is a delicate person at the best of times, and after what happened with her birthday was brought up, I think this is the very last situation where we should be leaving her alone if she's deliberately secluding herself. It feels like Lily has a very definite image of how best to deal with Hanako in her mind, though, not just now, but in all the times I've known the two. I mull over the best course of action in my head and find myself trying to verbally agree with Lily as softly and as ambivalently as I can. We make some small talk afterwards, but neither of us really have much stomach for it. In the light of recent events, we say our goodbyes before I hang up. Okay. I want to talk to Hanako myself to help her as best as I can. The best thing for her right now would have some close to her, not to be left alone. I wrap my knuckles. Oh god, the music. I wrap my knuckles on just the hairs on Hanako's door. As expected, there's no answer. I briefly consider knocking again, but I know full well that I just get the same result if I did. Resting my head on Hanako's door handle, I try and prepare what I'm going to say to her. Try as I might, I can't really think of anything worth saying. I want to comfort her, yes, but I have no idea how to do that. That alone is almost enough to stop me. I told Lily that I would, so I feel I have to follow through, whether I'm confident about it or not. I turn the handle downwards with a large amount of hesitation. It doesn't move far, though, due to the door being locked. Hanako. So she really has locked me out. After everything that happened between us, and the time we spent together, she shut me out completely. I don't know if you can hear me, but I just want to talk to you for a bit. If you can hear me, could you unlock the door? I wait in silence. Minutes pass, but eventually I hear footsteps coming to the door and the lock being worked. At least she's willing to hear me out. That's one good thing. I don't really know what to say, but I just wanted to see you. I wanted to make sure you're alright. I take a breath before pushing the handle down and opening the door. If she unlocked it without raising any protest, it should be fine for me to go in. Hanako is sitting on the bed, her face sullen as though deep in thought. Her room is as stark as ever, and right now she seems to be perfectly suit the mood it gives off. Her eyes eventually slowly move to the door as she notices my presence. She darts off her bed and jumps to her feet, facing me straight on. Her oversized gown makes this gesture look all the more sweeping as if it freely moves about her light frame. What are you? I quickly regret coming in and as I look at her. She looks depressed. There's a tinge of anger behind it. So she can make this kind of expression as well. I just wanted to check that you were right. I thought it would be okay since you unlocked the door. Hanako opens her mouth to speak, but quickly closes it again before looking away. We stand in silence for a while before she steps back and sits down on the side of her bed. I'm not sure whether she's frustrated with me and resigned to the fact that I'm here, or genuinely okay with me being in the room. Once again, I find myself completely unable to work out how she feels. It's annoying. I end up walking to her desk and taking a seat to do it. I do it slowly to allow her time to raise any issue she might have with me sticking around, but she doesn't say anything. All she does is stare at the ground and not moving a muscle. After sitting with my front to the chair's back, I take a better look at Hanako. She appears pale, but her cheeks look red. I'm not sure if she's been eating well, either given how thin her frame looks. Lily might have said it would be better if I kept more of a distance from her, but it's hard to think of that as the correct way to deal with Hanako when she looks like this. She keeps looking at the ground without a word, as if waiting for me to say something. It's entirely reasonable, since I'm the one who came into her room. Want to go out somewhere? Going down the hill to town might be a bit much, but we could at least go for a walk outside. Why do you want to do that? I'm just thinking that it might help you a bit. You spend so much time inside. Your skin's going to go pale as lilies before long. I snort in amusement, expecting Hanako to do the same, but she gives no reaction. She just goes back to looking to the ground. If you don't want to go, I don't want to go either. It's fine, I played soccer and hang out with friends after school a lot before coming to Yamaku, so I like being outdoors. Hanako shows no visible reaction. It's hard to talk to her when the discussion is so one-sided. We go to the library, if it wasn't closed by about now. The gardens would be fine, though. She begins to play with her hair. It's distracting, and strikes me as a little unusual for her. Then again, since the incident in class happened, I've been tiptoeing around her for fear of hurting her like that again. Actively trying to get her outside might be a good thing. I lean forward a bit more in the chair and give a slight faux smile to try and lighten the mood a bit. There wouldn't be anyone around by now, so you wouldn't have to worry about someone getting in our way. It could be a little date or something. I give a small chuckle, but catch myself as Hanako stops playing with her hair and grips the bed tightly. Hanako's mouth moves, but I try as I might, I can't pick out what she's mumbling. Hanako? You don't understand. Even now, I can barely understand what she says. It feels like she's trying to make her presence as small as... Sorry, you don't understand. Yes, it's possible. It's incredibly natural for her to do in class or around others, but it hurts when she tries it around me. I told her it was fine, it's just a little walk. Nobody will notice us. I get out of the chair and walk towards the door, turning back to invite Hanako along. Once again, she doesn't respond at all to what I say. I don't. Coming outside for a bit is good for you clearing your head. Wow, I don't like this Hisao here. This is a terrible choice. Why do you want to do this? Because I want to help you. I don't want help. Did you just come here to try and get me out? I don't mind. I think everyone needs help sometimes. When I was trying to get through my first days at Yamaku, you and Lily helped me a lot. Besides, I'm not exactly busy. I don't want to go. I'm fine. I don't really think it's healthy to stay indoors as long. The sun's still got a little life in it. It's not a little late if you have at least a little walk. It's just like, just take a little walk. Just sit down. Just take a seat. Right by here. Take a seat right by here. Just come outside with me for a little bit. I could probably use a bit of exercise anyway. That'll wake me up. I've got some homework to get done, and it would be good to fall asleep halfway through doing it. Then go. By myself? She nods. I'm not really against that, but you sure? I swung by to invite you to come with me. I'm fine. You can go. Come on, just a small... Just come on a walk for me. Come on. Please, just go. I'm fine here. Hanako? I try to look at her face to gauge her feelings, but her expression is wooden. It's as if it was so carefully arranged that a single movement might cause it to collapse. Well, if you want to stay here, maybe we could play a game. Just leave, please. I don't want to do anything right now. Sure there's something you want to do. It must be boring sitting here in your room all alone. I want you to go. Come on, you have to be like that. I just want to spend some time with you. Lily and I are worried, so... Wow, he is like really pushy. You talked to her? Yeah, we were on the phone a little while ago. We were both really worried about you. Hanako mumbles to herself again. It's increasingly disturbing. Hanako? I'm telling you, please go away. You don't understand anything. We just had a talk. You could tell me what I don't understand. I just want to protect you. I don't really see. Get out, please. Wow, seriously, what is this? He's just like, no, fuck you. I want you to come outside. Just locking yourself in your room again isn't going to help anything, Hanako. Please. Silence. Hanako, I just want to help. She suddenly storms off her bed, turning to me with an expression that takes me completely off guard. Oh, jeez. Get out of my room! Get out of my room! Get out of my room! Hanako yells at me with such force that for the first time in a long time, I feel genuinely frightened. I have no idea how to react to this, and from Hanako of all people. Leave! I'm telling you to go! But I was just trying to help you. I know. I need help. I know I'm broken. I don't need you to tell me that. I never said you were broken or anything like that. It's written on your face. It's written on Lily's face. It's written on everybody's faces. Ah! I see a therapist every week. Lily dotes on me as if I were a child, and now, even you. Nothing's changed. Nothing at all. I hate Lily, and I hate you more than anyone. Her face moves in strange, almost grotesque ways. I've never seen someone completely lose it before, but it looks like the usual quiet, withdrawn girl in front of me is going into such a destructive cycle before my eyes. She's gonna fucking murder you in a minute. Get out. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what I should say or do. Leave. Go! Leave me alone! Get out of here! I take a step back, then another. My retreat is only halted when I feel the door against my back. I can't fix the situation. Nothing I say would change anything now. I feel like I'm in a strange and deeply unsettling foreign world. I don't want to be here anymore. The door handle fights my clumsy attempts to open the door without turning my back to Hanako. Eventually, thankfully, the handle moves downwards. I open the door as fast as I can and almost leap backwards through it. As I go through, I keep my eyes on the girl in front of me. She's not broken. Hanako isn't broken. If she was broken, then I'm just as broken as she is after all that happened to me. Lily only ever did the best by her, and I only ever tried to protect her as best as I could. Hanako looks down as her energy spent. Now that I've stepped out of the room, her worst of her fury is gone. But even now, I can't bring myself to argue with her. It's just the deep shock of what she said. It feels like something is stopping me. Something deep that makes me feel physically sick. Without a word, I slowly shut the door. The creak of the old hinges sounds almost deafening. With a final thud, the wooden door closes. The Hanako that I felt I knew disappears behind it, and only faint orange silvers of light peek around the very edges. I feel numb. Without anything to do, I begin to walk back to my dormitory room, mechanically placing one foot in front of the other, while barely registering a thing around me. My mind keeps ticking, questioning everything that I thought I knew about Hanako. But one thing is not questioned. That's shutting the door brought a close to more than that single visit. There you go. I don't like that ending at all. No music? Ooh. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay, well, we've also got one other ending as well. That's the neutral ending. So, I'm gonna go have a look at that then. Yeah. I don't like that ending. Okay, so I did this wrong before, you didn't see it, but assuming I've done this right now, assuming you've made all the right choices throughout the rest of it, choosing trust my own judgment should lead us to the neutral ending now. It'll skip through all the text you've already read. Here we go. Oh, wait, hang on. I listened carefully to what Lily has to say, but I can't bring myself to agree with her. I want to be with Hanako more. I want to be a better friend to her, to support her when she needs support, and to be there when she most needs people. I think that now is one of those times. The memory of the store owner we met in town together still put me off. Anyone who takes even the slightest glance at Hanako ends up staring, and to fault them for it would be completely hypocritical, even given my own reaction. I don't like my own scarring either, but at least I can cover it up with something as simple as a shirt. I can't imagine a life where every day would be spent trying to hide myself as much as possible. And on top of that, Hanako doesn't even have people around her that would support her no matter what she looks like. I live away from my parents, but I can still contact and visit them whenever I wish. I mull over the best course of action in my head, and find myself trying to verbally agree with Lily as softly and as ambivalently as I can. We make some small talk afterwards, but the both of us don't really have much to stomach for it in the light of recent events. We say our goodbyes before I hang up. There's at least one thing I can do for Hanako. If I make this small gesture for her, I can only hope that she allows me to come that little bit closer. After talking to Lily at the end of the school day, I sat at my desk and looked at the window, idly watching students leave and the school building. Usually they left in groups, but even when they were left alone, they didn't say goodbye to their friends first. It's completely normal, something that I would have missed completely had it been the other day, because it's so mundane. but it's also something Hanako had never had in the time that I've known her. As I stand outside of Hanako's door for the second time in as many days, the fact doesn't leave my mind. I hold 2 plates in my hands. One each is not exactly the most hearty of meals, but I want to be sure that Hanako is at least feeding herself. It may also be a way to gain a little leverage in getting her to let me in. Leah and I have tried our best to be there for her ever since she broke down in class. I've daily wanted to protect Hanako. Such a thing happening to her again, or even something worse, is something I don't want to think about. The door gives a solid series of thuds as I knock it, while carefully propping up one plate on my other arm. I doubt Hanako will open it for me, so all I can really hope is to attract her attention. Even Hanako, it's just me. I pause for a moment to see if she will respond, but the fact she doesn't isn't very surprising. I have some food for both of us. Could I come in? For what feels like a very long time, some muffled voices from the floor below are the only sound to be heard. Then I hear the sound of bare feet on the floor coming up to the door, and I have to stifle a sigh of relief as I hear the door lock being worked. When Hanako opens the door, I look at her intently. She looks up momentarily to the plate in my left hand. It's a modest curry dish I quickly made from a packet. Her eyes move to the plate in my right hand, which holds the same thing, before looking down again. As she shuffles back into her room, I realise I haven't said a word to her. I glumly follow her in, slightly embarrassed by having been so wrapped up in observing her. More than ever, the grey and stark atmosphere of Hanako's room feels like a reflection of her personality. The voices from outside become completely inaudible, and the silence inside oppressive once I close the door. Walking to the far end of the room, I replace 2 plates on her desk. I'm thankful that she let me in, but as soon as I turn to face her, I can't help having second thoughts about coming to see her. I don't believe Lily was right, though. Looking at Hanako like this, I can only think that giving her space is the last thing we should do. I don't want to imagine it, but she may be doing something foolish. It's just an instant meal, but it should be filling. I take a plate in my hand, offering it to her. She wordlessly takes it and sits on the side of her bed. I take a seat in the chair, and the familiar sound of eating rings in the room as we dig in with the forks that were stuck into the rice. The curry itself tastes okay. I wouldn't expect much more from a packet whose brand I didn't recognize. So it's not being horrible is at least something. Eating takes the edge off the fact that she isn't talking. Neither of us really likes to talk while we're eating. I do. And this reminds me of the lunchtimes we so often spent together. It's kind of nice eating together like this. Different to when you did it after you had sex. Hanako looks at me quizzically. It's at least a better expression than what she's been wearing this far. We became friends mainly over sharing lunch breaks, so it's nice to go back to those times a bit. She hesitates for a couple of seconds, and I find myself grimacing. Did I say something wrong? Friends. Eventually she smiles and nods. I would normally be very encouraged by this, but her smile looks strange. I can't quite put my finger on why. Everything's the same as before, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. You've got Lily. You still got Lily and me to help you and protect you, and once she gets back, everything will be like she never left. Hanako nods again, her expression remaining exactly the same as before. She feels like a different Hanako from the one I'd first seen when I entered the room. It's vaguely off-putting. Both of us go back to finishing our dinners after the short exchange. Despite Hanako looking happier than before, my eyes keep flickering to her as if to reassure myself of this fact. Before long, the last of Hanako's curry is cleared. I finish the last of mine as she puts the empty plate on the desk, and place my own empty plate and used fork on top of hers. I briefly wonder what I should say, desperately wanting to avoid another awkward silence or the prospect of leaving her room. After so short a time, but Hanako is the one to speak up first. I was wondering, since you're here. She quickly goes into one of her drawers and after a minimum of fussing around pulls out her chessboard. Would you like to play? This time I can't stifle the sigh of relief that escapes my lips. I hastily agree, and Hanako promptly but busies herself setting up while I get off the chair and take a seat on the bed. Once again, Hanako was willing to let me into her world, and with so simple a gesture as a game shared between us. I guess I was just winding myself up for no reason. After the board is laid down on the bed between us, we finish placing our respective pieces on it. Throughout our friendship, we've never exchanged many words. When we were like this, though, I see that perhaps we've never really needed to. Just a simple book or a board or a meal between us is enough to bridge that distance. I make the first move, just as I've always done. This is the way our friendship was, and this is the way it will probably always be. Something definitely feels different about her, though. I can't quite grasp what it is. I look at Hanako intently, but I can't work out anything from her expression. As physically close as we may be, it feels that we're further apart than ever. Hanako is a fragile person, though, and I would never want to hurt her. That was the way things always were, and the way things between us will probably always be. Ugh, I don't like that ending either. That ending, Hanako is totally fucking oblivious to everything. It's probably the worst ending. Well, it's not as bad as the first ending. I don't like that at all. That was horrible. But yeah, there you go, guys. That is the end of Hanako's story completely. Next, I'm going to be doing someone else's. I don't want to do Lily's because it's too close to Hanako. I want to get away from the two characters. I haven't decided yet. I'm tempted to do Shizune just because I find Misha so funny, and I'm assuming she'll be in there a lot. But I'm unsure. I'm kind of thinking Emmy. I'll come back and do Lily eventually, but something else. Also, the episode's probably going to be a bit weird because it's not going to follow a straight narrative from the beginning because of the way that because a lot of the stuff at the beginning will be repeated. So yeah, I'm not sure. Either way, thank you for watching, guys. I do appreciate it a lot. And I've been Millbee. This has been Katawa Shoujo, and I will see you next time for a brand new start to a brand new storyline in Katawa Shoujo. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you then.